Welcome, dear friend, to this quiet haven we have prepared, a place woven from soft threads of story and gentle sound. We are so very glad you have chosen to rest here with us for a while, allowing the world outside to softly fade like mist at dawn. It is our warmest hope that this story, with its unfolding paths and whispered enchantments, will be a gentle companion, helping your thoughts to quieten and your body to ease, guiding you softly towards a night of truly peaceful and restorative sleep. And if this quiet journey brings you comfort, we would be ever so grateful if you might like this story and subscribe to our channel so that we may continue to share these tranquil moments. Within this shared quietude, we invite you to simply be, to let the gentle cadence of the narrative wash over you, much like a slow, warm tide lapping at a peaceful shore. There is nothing to do here but to listen, to feel the soft unfurling of the tale, and to allow yourself to be carried into a realm of deep serenity. May the soft imagery and the gentle unfolding of our story be a balm to your spirit, a quiet path leading you to the edge of slumber, leaving you refreshed and deeply at ease when you next awaken. Chapter 1. The Mapmaker and the Bloom's First Light. Anya's small workshop was filled with the comforting scent of old paper and warm dried ink. Dust motes danced in the single shaft of late afternoon sunlight that slanted through the high window, illuminating the intricate lines and faded colors of the ancient map spread across her large wooden table. This was no ordinary map. It was worn smooth in places by countless years and bore the subtle, enchanting addition of delicate mossbloom. The moss, a soft, vibrant green, seemed to pulse with a faint, almost imperceptible light of its own. Anya ran a gentle finger over a section of the map, depicting rolling hills and a winding, faded blue line that might have been a stream. The texture of the old parchment was surprisingly smooth, worn down to a soft, almost velvety feel in the areas most frequently touched. A wave of calm settled over her as she absorbed the quiet history held within the map's surface. The moss bloom beneath her fingertip began to glow, a soft, luminous green that spread slowly like a gentle tide across the nearby areas of the map. It wasn't a bright, startling light, but a diffused inner radiance, like captured moonlight. A faint warmth emanated from the glow, a subtle sensation that felt like holding a warm stone on a cool evening. Anya leaned closer, breathing in the air above the map, which now carried a faint, earthy sweetness, quite unlike the usual scent of her workshop. It was a comforting, grounding aroma, reminiscent of a quiet forest floor after a gentle rain. She shifted her weight, feeling her feet firmly on the worn wooden floorboards. The simple act of standing, of feeling her own quiet presence in the room, felt grounding. She noticed the faint sounds outside her window, the distant, contented cooing of a wood pigeon, the almost silent rustle of leaves in a barely there breeze. These small, peaceful sounds were a soothing backdrop to the quiet wonder unfolding before her. The moss bloom's glow remained steady, a silent confirmation of the map's subtle magic. Anya carefully adjusted a small, smooth stone paperweight, feeling its cool, solid weight in her hand before placing it gently on a corner of the map. The stone, warmed slightly by the sunlight, offered a pleasant contrast to the cool air of the workshop. The moss bloom near the stone seemed to brighten just a fraction, as if acknowledging the simple, secure presence of the weight. There was a comforting predictability to the glow, a gentle rhythm that spoke of ancient, unhurried processes. She allowed her gaze to drift over the entire map, taking in the faded names of places that no longer existed, the whimsical depictions of mythical, peaceful creatures, and the intricate looping patterns of what might have been ancient rivers or paths. The sheer detail was overwhelming in its quiet beauty, a testament to a world both imagined and perhaps in some forgotten way, real. The soft light from the moss bloom seemed to enhance the faded colors, bringing a gentle vibrancy to the ochres and muted greens. Anya reached out again, this time trailing a finger along a series of small, almost invisible symbols clustered around what looked like a representation of a tranquil lake. As her finger passed over them, the moss bloom around the symbols pulsed with a soft, rhythmic glow, like a gentle heartbeat. It was a soothing, hypnotic rhythm that calmed her own breathing, encouraging slow, steady inhales and exhales. With each pulse of light, she felt a sense of letting go, of tension easing from her shoulders and neck. She sat down on her stool, the wormwood smooth beneath her. The stool felt sturdy and reliable, a familiar comfort. She rested her elbows on the table, allowing the weight of her arms to settle comfortably. The subtle warmth from the glowing moss bloom reached her palms, a gentle heat that seemed to spread upwards, easing any stiffness in her wrists and arms. The quiet hum of contentment within her grew, a gentle resonance with the map's magic. The air in the workshop felt still and peaceful, carrying the layered sense of old paper, faint ink, and the sweet, earthy perfume of the moss bloom. It was a blend that spoke of quiet dedication, ancient knowledge, and a living, gentle magic. Anya closed her eyes for a moment, letting the warmth of the moss bloom and the comforting scents wash over her. She felt grounded and at ease, ready to explore the gentle secrets held within the sleeping map. As the sun dipped lower, the light in the workshop softened, becoming a diffused golden glow. The moss bloom on the map seemed to become even more luminous in the deepening twilight, its soft radiance a gentle beacon in the quiet room. Anya watched the steady, peaceful glow, feeling a deep sense of connection to the forgotten lands and the ancient peace the map seemed to represent. It was a feeling of profound calm, a quiet anticipation of the gentle journey ahead. Chapter 2. Following the Verdant Paths. The next morning, Anya woke with a sense of quiet anticipation, the memory of the moss bloom's soft glow, a comforting presence in her mind. The air in her small home was cool and fresh, carrying the scent of dew from the garden outside. She dressed in simple, comfortable clothes, soft, worn linen, and sturdy leather boots, feeling the familiar texture of the fabric against her skin. Each piece felt like a trusted companion for the journey ahead, simple and reliable. She ate a quiet breakfast of warm porridge, feeling the soothing warmth in her stomach, a gentle grounding before she began. Carefully, she rolled the ancient map, the moss bloom now dormant, but still holding a hint of its luminous potential. It felt solid and weighty in her hands, a comforting burden. She tucked it gently into a satchel made of soft, worn canvas, along with a small flask of water and a few dried fruits. The weight of the satchel on her shoulder felt balanced and familiar, a gentle pressure that reminded her of the quiet purpose of her travels. She stepped out of her home, locking the door with a gentle click, the sound a soft finality to her morning preparations. The path leading away from her village was narrow and winding, edged with tall grass that brushed softly against her legs. The air was clean and fresh, carrying the scent of damp earth and blooming wildflowers, tiny blue blossoms, and delicate white ones that nodded in the almost imperceptible breeze. The sounds around her were the soft hum of insects, a gentle constant murmur, and the distant melodic chirping of birds. Each step she took felt unhurried and deliberate, a slow, steady rhythm. She consulted the map, unrolling it carefully beneath the dappled sunlight filtering through the trees. The mossbloom remained dormant for now, but as she focused on a particular winding path depicted on the map, a faint internal warmth seemed to emanate from the area. It was a subtle feeling, like a gentle nudge guiding her choice of direction. She felt the soft texture of the map in her hands, the comforting familiarity of the old parchment. Following the path indicated by the map's subtle guidance, she walked deeper into the landscape. The trees grew closer together, their leaves forming a gentle canopy overhead that diffused the sunlight into soft, shifting patterns. The air became cooler, carrying the rich, earthy scent of damp soil and decaying leaves. The sounds here were more muted, the soft rustle of her own footsteps on the fallen leaves, the occasional snap of a twig underfoot, and the quiet, hidden movements of small creatures in the undergrowth. As she walked, Anya focused on the sensation of her feet on the ground, feeling the gentle give of the earth beneath her boots, the firmness of a hidden root, the softness of a patch of moss. This connection to the earth felt grounding and calming, rooting her in the present moment. She breathed deeply, inhaling the clean, fresh air, feeling her chest expand with ease. Each breath was a quiet affirmation of her journey, a release of any lingering tension from her body. She came to a small wooden bridge spanning a narrow, clear stream. The water flowed with a gentle, almost silent murmur over smooth, colored stones visible beneath the surface. The air above the stream smelled of clean water and cool stone. She paused on the bridge, leaning against the smooth, worn wood of the railing, feeling its solid support. The sound of the stream, though soft, was a constant, soothing presence, like a gentle lullaby sung by nature itself. She closed her eyes for a moment, letting the sound wash over her. Continuing on, the path opened slightly, revealing a small clearing bathed in soft, golden sunlight. Wildflowers grew in profusion here, their colors muted and gentle. The air was thick with their sweet, delicate scent. Anya carefully unrolled the map again. As she did, the moss bloom on the section depicting this clearing began to glow with a soft, steady radiance. It was a welcoming glow, a confirmation that she had found a place of quiet peace. A warmth spread through her hands from the glowing moss, a comforting feeling that seemed to ease the subtle ache in her shoulders from carrying the satchel. She sat down on a patch of soft, springy moss at the edge of the clearing, feeling the cool dampness beneath her. The sunlight warmed her face gently, a comforting caress. The sounds around her were the gentle hum of bees among the wildflowers and the distant, peaceful call of a cuckoo. There was a profound stillness in the air, a palpable sense of calm. She rested her map on her lap, watching the gentle glow of the moss bloom, feeling the soft texture of the fabric beneath her palms, allowing the peace of the clearing to settle deep within her. Chapter 3. Sanctuary of the Still Stream. The path twisted gently, leading Anya downwards into a secluded valley. The air grew cooler and held a constant refreshing scent of damp earth and clean, moving water. The sounds of the forest began to fade, replaced by a soft, rhythmic murmur that grew steadier as she descended. Her feet found purchase on a mix of soft soil and smooth, rounded stones, the texture a pleasant variety beneath her boots. The angle of descent was gentle, allowing her to walk with an easy, unhurried rhythm. She emerged into a hidden clearing, and the source of the murmuring became clear. A narrow, still stream meandered through this space, its surface like polished glass in places, reflecting the soft green of the surrounding foliage. The stones lining the stream bed were large and smooth, many covered in a thick, vibrant layer of moss. The air here was incredibly still, as if holding its breath, yet it felt deeply refreshing. She carefully unrolled the map, the mossbloom on the section depicting this valley now glowing with a steady, luminous intensity. The warmth from the bloom felt particularly strong here, a comforting presence against her palms. Anya walked to the edge of the stream, peering into the clear water. Tiny silvery fish darted slowly among the stones, their movements fluid and silent. The bottom of the stream was covered in smooth, multicolored pebbles, their shapes softened by the constant flow of water. She knelt, feeling the cool dampness of the earth beneath her knees. She reached out and dipped her fingers into the water. It was surprisingly cool and felt incredibly clean, like liquid silk. The sensation sent a ripple of calm through her arm. She found a large, flat stone by the stream bank, its surface smooth and worn. It was partially covered in soft, velvety moss that felt cool and yielding beneath her fingertip. The stone itself, though cool to the touch, held a faint warmth absorbed from the filtering sunlight. She sat down on the stone, allowing her body to settle and release its weight. The solidness of the stone felt grounding, a firm anchor in the peaceful valley. She placed the map beside her, the glowing mossbloom, a quiet companion. The only consistent sound was the gentle, rhythmic murmur of the stream flowing over the stones, a sound so soft it was almost silence, a constant, soothing presence. Occasionally, a single clear droplet of water would fall from a leaf above, landing on the surface of the stream with a tiny, soft plink. These small sounds were not jarring, but rather highlighted the surrounding quietude, like gentle brushstrokes on a canvas of silence. Anya took a deep breath, inhaling the cool, clean air that carried the scent of water and damp earth. She held the breath for a moment, feeling the gentle expansion in her chest, and then released it slowly, allowing any remaining tension to float away like dandelion seeds on a breeze. She repeated this several times, each breath deepening her sense of calm, her body becoming more relaxed and at ease. She noticed the feeling of her shoulders softening, dropping away from her ears. She spent a long while simply watching the stream, mesmerized by the slow dance of the tiny fish and the gentle movement of the water. The world seemed to narrow to this peaceful scene, all external worries fading into insignificance. The quiet stillness of the valley seeped into her, a palpable sense of tranquility filling her mind and body. The glowing mossbloom on the map pulsed faintly, mirroring the quiet rhythm of her own peaceful heart. She leaned back slightly against the stone, feeling the firm support against her back. Her eyes felt heavy, not with tiredness, but with a deep sense of restfulness. She could feel the subtle warmth spreading through her muscles, a comforting heat that melted away any lingering stiffness. The air on her skin felt gentle and cool, a pleasant contrast to the internal warmth. This sanctuary of the still stream felt like a place of profound healing, a quiet harbor for the soul. As the afternoon sun began to slant lower, casting long, soft shadows across the valley, Anya felt a deep sense of contentment. The moss bloom's glow remained steady and bright, a testament to the enduring peace of this hidden place. She knew she could rest here, truly rest, feeling the quiet strength of earth beneath her, listening to the soothing song of the stream, surrounded by the comforting glow of the ancient map. Chapter 4. Beneath the Gentle Canopy. Leaving the sanctuary of the still stream felt like a soft turning of a page, not a departure from peace, but a transition to a different kind of tranquility. Anya followed the map's gentle, luminous guidance upwards and into a grove of ancient trees. Their trunks were thick and covered in textured bark, rough, yet somehow soft to the touch. The scent here was predominantly of pine needles and damp, rich soil, a grounding and comforting aroma. The sunlight filtering through the dense canopy overhead created a mesmerizing dance of light and shadow on the forest floor. It wasn't a harsh, bright light, but a diffused golden glow that shifted and moved with the slightest breeze. The air was cooler here than in the open, a pleasant temperature that felt refreshing against her skin. The only sounds were the gentle whisper of the wind in the high leaves, like a distant, soothing murmur, and the soft crunch of needles and leaves under her careful footsteps. She found a spot beneath the widest tree, its branches spreading outwards like sheltering arms. The ground was covered in a thick, soft carpet of fallen leaves, damp and yielding beneath her weight. She knelt, feeling the soft give of the leaves, the slightly damp coolness seeping through her clothes. It was a feeling of being deeply connected to the earth, of sinking gently into its embrace. She unrolled the map, and the moss bloom, surrounded by the peaceful energy of the grove, glowed with a soft, vibrant luminescence. Anya sat back against the rough bark of the ancient tree, feeling its immense, quiet strength. The texture was coarse, yet held a comforting resilience. She allowed her shoulders to relax, feeling the support of the tree at her back. The air around her was incredibly still, the gentle whisper of the wind in the upper canopy, a distant, almost dreamlike sound. She closed her eyes for a moment, focusing on the feeling of her body settling, releasing any lingering tension with each slow, steady breath. She opened her eyes to watch the play of light and shadow. Golden motes danced in the air, suspended in the shafts of sunlight. The leaves above rustled softly, a constant soothing sound that blended seamlessly with the quiet of the grove. The scent of pine was strong and invigorating, yet deeply calming, a scent that spoke of ancient growth and enduring peace. She felt a sense of deep peace settling within her, mirroring the stillness of the ancient trees. She rested the map on her lap, her fingers lightly touching the glowing moss bloom. The warmth from the bloom was a gentle, constant presence, a subtle heat that seemed to spread through her hands and arms, easing any stiffness. The texture of the moss was incredibly soft and yielding, a contrast to the rough bark of the tree. The combination of sensations, the support of the tree, the softness of the leaves, the warmth and texture of the moss, was profoundly calming. She spent time simply observing the details of the grove, the intricate patterns on the bark, the veins on the fallen leaves, the tiny insects moving slowly across the forest floor. Each small detail held a quiet beauty, a testament to the intricate, unhurried processes of nature. There was no rush, no urgency, just the gentle unfolding of life around her. Her mind felt clear and peaceful, free from the clutter of daily concerns. The feeling of her body relaxing deepened. She noticed the subtle release of tension in her jaw, the softening of her forehead. Her breath felt slow and deep, filling her with a sense of calm energy. The weight of her limbs felt comfortable and heavy, a pleasant sensation of being grounded. The gentle breeze, when it stirred the leaves above, felt like a soft caress on her skin, a soothing whisper from the ancient grove. As the light began to dim, the moss bloom on the map seemed to grow even brighter, its luminescence a quiet beacon in the deepening twilight. The air grew cooler, carrying the sharper scent of pine. Anya felt a profound sense of gratitude for the quiet peace of this place. She knew she could rest here, truly rest, surrounded by the quiet strength of the ancient trees, lulled by the gentle sounds of the wind and the soft rustle of leaves, feeling the deep, enduring calm of the grove. Chapter 5. Returning with Quiet Treasures. The journey back from the ancient grove was a gentle unwinding, a retracing of steps filled with the lingering scent of pine and damp earth. Anya walked with an unhurried pace, her boots making soft, familiar sounds on the path. The sunlight was now a warm, golden wash across the landscape, casting long, peaceful shadows. The moss bloom on the map, rolled and secured in her satchel, seemed to emanate a soft inner glow, a silent reminder of the peace she carried within her. As she walked, she noticed the subtle changes in the landscape, the way the light struck the leaves differently, the new wildflowers that had opened during the day, the gentle shift in the air temperature. These small observations filled her with a quiet appreciation for the ever-changing beauty of the world, a beauty that unfolded at its own unhurried pace. The sounds around her were familiar and comforting, the distant cooing of wood pigeons, the soft hum of insects in the tall grass, the gentle rustle of leaves. The weight of her satchel felt different now, not heavy with the burden of seeking, but light with the richness of experience. The map inside felt like a repository of calm, a collection of moments of profound peace. She could almost feel the soft texture of the moss bloom through the canvas, a subtle connection to the tranquility of the places she had visited. Her body felt relaxed and at ease, her muscles soft and yielding, released from the subtle tensions they had carried before. She passed the small wooden bridge over the still stream, pausing for a moment to listen to its gentle murmur. The sound felt like a familiar friend, a quiet greeting. She breathed in the clean, cool air, remembering the feel of the water on her fingertips and the deep stillness of the valley. The memory brought a gentle smile to her face, a quiet joy that settled deep within her chest. The feeling of peace was not fleeting, but seemed to have settled into the very core of her being. The path widened as she neared her village, the familiar landmarks appearing around her like old acquaintances. The scent of the air shifted, carrying the subtle aroma of wood smoke from distant chimneys and the faint, sweet smell of blooming night flowers. These scents were comforting, a gentle welcome home. Her steps felt steady and sure, a quiet rhythm of return. There was no rush, only the simple, peaceful act of walking towards a familiar place. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in soft hues of orange and pink, Anya reached her home. The small building looked inviting and cozy in the twilight. The air around it smelled of her own small garden, a familiar blend of earth and growing things. She unlocked the door, the soft click, a gentle punctuation mark to her journey. Stepping inside, she was greeted by the comforting scent of her workshop, now mingled with the lingering aroma of the mossbloom. She carefully unrolled the map on her table, the faint light from the lantern illuminating its surface. The mossbloom glowed with a soft, peaceful radiance, a reflection of the tranquility she had found. She traced the paths she had taken, the areas she had visited, feeling the subtle warmth from the bloom. It wasn't just a map anymore. It was a story of peace, a guide to finding stillness in a gentle world. She sat down on her stool, feeling the familiar smooth wood beneath her. The simple act of being in her own space, surrounded by the tools of her quiet craft, felt deeply comforting. She took a deep breath, inhaling the layered scents of her workshop, feeling the air fill her lungs with ease. Her body felt relaxed and heavy, a pleasant sense of being grounded. The peaceful stillness of the places she had visited seemed to have followed her home, settling in the quiet corners of her workshop. As darkness fully enveloped the village, Anya sat by her table, the mossbloom on the map casting a soft, calming light. She felt a profound sense of peace, a quiet contentment that radiated outwards. The journey had been gentle, the discoveries quiet and profound. She knew the map held many more secrets, many more paths to explore, but for now, she was simply content to rest, feeling the quiet strength of the earth beneath her, lulled by the gentle glow of the mossbloom and the enduring peace it represented.